Well, welcome back to Radio Entrepreneurs. My name is Jeffrey Davis, and we are streaming stories about entrepreneurship, business, adapting to this economy every day. And we appreciate everybody who has joined our network. Our next guest is Dan Gusz, co-founder and CEO of Lloyd. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
What is a Lloyd?
We are a career co-pilot. So we focus on working with individuals who are in their 20s, probably a few years into their first job out of college and thinking about where do I want to go with my career? What's next? Do I go to grad school? What's my long-term goal? And so we work with them. They have a co-pilot. We use a lot of technology to make sure that they actually have the resources they need to navigate going forward. And hopefully lead a more meaningful and a career that they're happy with going forward.
Wow. So what's your background that led you to sort of start this? Are you the only partner?
No, so we are two co-founders right now. My other co-founder is actually my older sister. And she's the wiser of the bunch and comes with a lot of the domain expertise in ed tech and future of work. My background is I worked in management consulting for a few years out of college, and then went to early stage med device startup and helped grow that from about 3 people to post Series B. So really focused there on, we focus on working with cancer patients, particularly around taking their life-saving medication. So a lot of the work that we did there around behavior change, making sure that, that 75-year-old who's living alone that takes that cancer medication that makes them pretty sick, how are they encouraged to do that on a regular basis? And we take a lot of those learnings to the career space. I mean, totally different space, but certainly we take a lot of thought around behavior science and apply it to working with individuals. So we founded Lloyd almost about exactly a year ago.
Wow. And how have you been finding starting a business during COVID?
It is different. I think it's so unique for every business. So for ours, I mean, we work remotely with every user. So it didn't change necessarily the working dynamic for us with our members. Our members are mostly in the US, but we have about 10% internationally. We communicate mostly via text or email, a little bit on the phone as well. And so that didn't change any of it. I find it hard that you just don't have the meetups and personal connections with other entrepreneurs or with other individuals. I found that takes a little bit of humanity out of work a little bit. Just that personal connection. I mean, humans are social beings, but from a fundamental starting business standpoint, it hasn't changed us, I would say, in a huge way, other than obviously there's a lot of challenges with people in their careers. We started this before the pandemic, but that change has certainly given us some opportunity, which is good and bad. I mean, some of the stories are tough that we work with for folks, but definitely opportunities.
So let's pretend I'm a 25-year-old. Describe to me the type of relationship and how it works. How what's the professional relationship and how does it work with you?
Absolutely. So put yourself in the shoes of a 25-year-old, like you said. You've probably been in your first job out of college for a couple of years, and maybe you've seen some friends change jobs at this point, and you're looking around, you're saying, what should I do next? What do I want to do in 5 years or 10 years? What do I want to do in 1 year? I don't know. So when you join Lloyd, you're matched with a co-pilot. Typically there's a short call, 15 minutes or so when you join, to build some connection with you and your co-pilot, to build some trust and start to identify what that long-term plan is for you. We've built an online dashboard, which you can think of as the homepage for your career. So that's a place where your career actually can exist, where you set your goals, where we develop a number of accelerators to work towards those goals. So I want to launch a side project. Great. Here's a step-by-step guide through that. And you work towards it along the way. One of the other aspects, though, is that we have an ongoing connection with you, typically on a weekly basis. And we leverage behavior science, which really shows habits are pretty poor in careers. And we want to change that, because when you think of your career, it's usually these big milestones and not the work along the way. So as you join, you have that initial conversation. You leverage the online dashboard to have those step-by-steps through each area. And your co-pilot is then connected with you each week. So each week you're setting goals, what I want to accomplish. And then we work with you to say, oh, think about this, or what have you thought about that? Or that's great, good job. Even some of that cheerleading is important just from a psychological standpoint. So we work with you to make sure you have that ongoing basis. Phone calls will happen on an ongoing basis as well as needed. But we really see there's an ability to leverage the technology we've built and will continue to build and behavior science to make sure that you have that ongoing relationship moving forward.
So who are the facilitators and coaches?
Yeah, so you're actually looking at one of them right now. So to date, we've been running a 100-person beta program, so all paying users. But we've been running the program and wanted to kind of dog food the product ourselves to say, as we go out and start to build the company more, hire folks into these roles, we want to know who's the right person because we've been acting in that role ourselves. So we're at that point, we're about to hire, we'll be hiring some folks in the next few months. But you're looking at one of the folks that are the facilitator, what we call a co-pilot, because we want to make sure we have that experience and the learnings. Say, how do we build the technology? Who are the right people in these roles going forward? And it's fun. I enjoy every conversation. It's really impactful just to see the transitions of folks, week by week as you progress, and then you zoom out a few months and there are a lot of changes that you see with folks. And that's something that's really impactful that we see.
So have you started to recruit, and what will be your model for looking for coaches?
Yeah, it's a good question. And I don't think we've nailed down the specific, what the specific type of person is. I mean, we've thought some folks maybe that work in career services at a university would be a good type of person. A background as a teacher, we think is a great personality for these type of roles. So, our long-term vision is that really a lot of the technology that we're building is the core component, and the co-pilot is augmented. So you may speak with your co-pilot every few months, but it's not this kind of super human based what the current career coaching model is. The main point and the main reason for that is price.
Right.
We think, we want to be at a price point of, let's say, just say sub $50 a month, and probably, even below that. Most services right now are many hundreds of dollars an hour.
Much more.
And so we want to really democratize your ability to have these services, which means we need to build some technology and use the data we're learning to make sure that that's scalable.
Right. We've been speaking with Dan Gusz, co-founder, CEO of Lloyd. Dan, if somebody wants to find you, learn more about Lloyd, potentially use your services, how would they find you?
Easiest place to go is just withloyd.com.
That's pretty easy. I want to thank you for being on Radio Entrepreneurs today. Hopefully we'll see you again.
Appreciate it. Thanks for the time.
Remind everybody, this is Radio Entrepreneurs.